Series. If you don't know who I am, my name is Monique Johnson, and I'm so excited to have the guest that we have lined up for today. But before we bring him on the screen and cue him up, just a few things that I just want to cover. If this is your very first time ever attending the Ignite Your Video Lifestyle Success Series, I must say you've been missing out, but welcome to today. Better late than never, right? And then we have an amazing guest lined up for tomorrow, in which it will end tomorrow. Now, if you're wondering, what is this all about? Well, I'm very strategic and intentional as to who I decide to bring on this amazing success series. I bring on what I call business veterans, so people who've been in business for a very long time, or at least more than 2 to 3 years, okay? So that when we are discussing the topic of video, they are literally sharing their personal experience, not theory, not fluff, or just kind of like, maybe this is something you could try. No, they're literally utilizing this in their business. And in my strongest opinion, there are people who I would like to say they use video as a lifestyle. And so hence the name Ignite Your Video Lifestyle. So the amazing guest that we have for today, I'm going to have him introduce himself in just a second, but his name is Lamar Tyler. I'm going to share with you guys a quick story because I don't even think Lamar knows this. So Lamar is actually one of the first people that I discovered online who looked like me, as in another African American. I discovered him maybe 2011. It was a long time ago. And he was the first people that I saw was utilizing this amazing medium that I was in the midst of teaching myself all of the things, and was very much obsessed with the power of video. And I love the fact that, because at the time I was living in New York, he and his wife Ronnie is living in Atlanta, and that's where I grew up. And so I just thought it was so amazing to see that here he is killing it with his blog, in which we'll talk about that in a moment, and he was utilizing video. And I remember one of the very first stories that I read about him, or that he shared, was how he got started with video. How it was just like this botched process. I think he said something about a flip camera or some kind of smartphone, something like that. And then how he just moved on and on and on. Like he would take a set and then stop and do it again, or I don't remember the whole story, and I'm sure Lamar knows what I'm talking about, but it was one of the very first stories that I came across. And so I've had the extreme pleasure of being able to meet Lamar and his wife, Ronnie, and also befriend him. And so I'm really, really excited to have him come on board. So without further ado, because I know I'm talking a lot, let's bring on Lamar Tyler. Welcome, Lamar.
Hey, thank you for having me, Monique. I'm excited to be here and part of this conversation today.
Yes, most definitely, most definitely. So for anyone who doesn't know who the heck you are, please share with us who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name is Lamar Tyler. I'm the founder of Traffic Sales and Profit. We help entrepreneurs do three things: drive more traffic, convert more sales, and grow the amount of profit in your business. And that's one of several brands I run along with my wife, Ronnie. We are business partners. We're life partners and business partners, y'all. How about that? But we are business partners, right? Our initial brand, blackandmarriedwithkids.com, we launched that 12 years ago now, right? So Monique, I didn't know. I never heard that story Monique told us. Very first time. Tell the truth. I never heard that before ever. I'm wondering like why Monique's never told me that story.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, but we did that 12 years ago, right? We launched that, and video was even a huge piece of that first brand. And we were trying different things with video. Where now I look back on it. Hey, some of it was crazy. But I look back on it, and a lot of stuff we tried then is stuff that like people do now, and I think like, man, I just should have stayed on top of it. Even if nobody was watching, even if it wasn't the quality I wanted, I should have stayed on top of it. But we use video a lot. We ended up making documentary films, a bunch of stuff. But like I said, now we kind of help entrepreneurs when it comes to traffic, when it comes to sales, when it comes to profit, and video is a big part of that.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I don't know why I never shared it with you. That's interesting. But yeah, it hit me today. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Let me share this story about how I discovered Lamar. So no, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And based on that, I would love to ask you, very first question, why should a business use video today?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, one of the main things I tell people is that video gives your viewers, right, your clients, your leads, whoever's on the other side of that, the opportunity to connect with you unlike anything else in this world. The only thing better than video is them literally being in a room with you. And if you're trying to sell them, you're trying to convert them from a lead into a customer, like the best thing you can do is be in the room. And the second best thing you can do is articulate whatever your value proposition is through video, because it's something special, Monique, about when that person gets to see not just who you are, but gets that connection, gets to look into your eyes. They get to hear how you talk, right? Like, what are the little quirks and little things that you have about your attitude, about the way you talk, about the way you sling your verbs and your words around, the cadence that you speak in, right? When I speak, I have a DMV vernacular. We live in Atlanta, but I'm from Maryland. So
Right.
people in DMV, they love it, or people got attachment to it. They love it. And it's something that doesn't come across in just a blog post, in just an article. You can maybe do it in the email if you like a beast of a copywriter, but it's just nothing like video.
Most definitely, and I totally agree with you. And like I said, when I first discovered you, because I think you started Black and Married with Kids like 2007, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know when you started it. Okay, well, I discovered
late 2007. Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's the year I graduated high school. Not high school, college, college, like, not high school.
Old man Withers up on here today, right? You like I was in third grade when you started your marriage blog, Lamar.
My apologies, college 2007, but I discovered you like 3-4 years later. So wow, that's a long time. So with that said, you posted a video, and by the way, he has a very active Facebook group. I feel like that's like the common theme I have of all the speakers that I have this week is everybody has an on and poppin' Facebook group. And with Lamar, you recently posted this video, which I totally forgot about this, but I remember. And so I want to tackle this is the whole mantra that you have about the gatekeepers are gone. So yes. I know you started a book with that, but can you just share that, some insight on that, and then also how video ties into what you are speaking about in that regard?
Sure. So in 2014, I wrote a book. Actually, I got it right here, right?
All right, go ahead, plug it in.
Hey, right? That's why I keep all the stuff like right in front of me in arm's reach. I got like a plethora of product, right within arm's reach. If I was doing this in a written article, you couldn't see this right now, y'all. But I wrote this book, The Gatekeepers Are Gone, Hustle Plus Technology Equals Success. And in it, what I talked about, and this is a great time to have this conversation. What I talked about is the fact that due to the rise of social media, right? But on the other hand, you have the lowering cost of technology. In a lot of industries, the middleman has been removed, or they at least have been put on the sideline for the time being. So what does that mean, Lamar, if you listen to this? That means that, the website that would cost us $5 or $10 grand to make, just a few years ago, right? You might be able to get it done for like $500 now.
Yeah.
Actions that would cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars, you might be able to go on Fiverr or Upwork and get for a fraction of that. So that's one way the playing field has been leveled. But the big thing is that for the first time ever in the history of man, we can connect direct to consumer without having to go through somebody else.
Correct.
So we built Black and Married with Kids. The first real product we had is documentary films. We've done 7 full-length documentary films. And we were able to create documentary. We built a thriving community online around Black and Married with Kids. We would do 7 to 10 city tours. We would rent out our own theaters. We would say, all right, like, where do we have audience at based on analytics on our website, based on analytics on our insights on our Facebook page. And then we would travel around the country doing sellouts, right? 300, 400, 500 people theater sellouts, adding additional shows and killing it, because we didn't have to go to Hollywood and say, hey, you know what? We got documentaries about couples that's just like in love. Like, ain't no drama, ain't nobody fighting, ain't nobody throwing drinks in each other's faces. Couples just love each other. Can you please let this out? And they would say no, right? If we did. And I think we even tried it. We talked to a couple people, right? I talked to somebody one time about one of our movies. And they said, well, I don't get this. I don't think people will like this. Have you shown this to anybody? And I said, yeah, we ran a sale last week. And I got like 130 emails back. Like, not even people we sold it to, but I got 130 emails in my inbox off an automated email campaign of people telling me how much they love the film. I can forward them to you if you want. So they didn't want that. I ain't worried about it. I just kept selling direct to consumer, right? But it's a special time. And when it comes to video, what the Gatekeepers Are Gone looks like is the fact that broadcast standard of what video had to look like, let's say 5 years ago, right? Or, let's say I'll say 2010, right? 2010, we started to see some changes. Like late 2008, 2009, 2010.
Yep.
Because what happened is before, when you would look on TV, the standard of broadcast quality was so high,
Sure.
and then what we had at home was so low.
Right.
But then you started, again, the gatekeepers are gone, technology started to get better and cheaper. Then we see the news stations beginning to use cameras that are not $20,000 cameras like what they were using before. Now they're using cameras that's $2,000, $3,000. And not everybody, but people on the street, right, are starting to pick up cameras that are $2,000, $3,000. Now, if we go from that period, Monique, to what happened next is that we would turn on a CNN, and all of a sudden, CNN is not bringing everybody in the studio or over an ISDN line. They're starting to bring people in over Skype.
Yep.
So then, like, people at home, right, that are watching CNN, watching the local news, are starting to get acclimated to watching their news stations, right? The people, this is what broadcast TV looks like, have people connected via the internet. So they actually lowered what that quality was. And now if we fast forward to today with the pandemic and everything going on around us, we're seeing that same thing to where now we're seeing what are your local newscasters doing? What are the national newscasters doing, right? What is it? Cuomo, right, from CNN. He was broadcasting from his basement for weeks.
And let me chime in here real quick. Our stuff right now that you guys are viewing through was looking better than what CNN, Fox, everybody else was doing. I was like, really? Like, these big companies have big money. What are they doing with their life? And I remember when you posted that post and was like, yo, what is going on right now?
And it's opportunity, right? Like, that's what I want the entrepreneurs, the people at home that are watching this to see. Is literally like you said, Monique, like you can craft something better than what you'll cut on and see on the ABC, the Fox News, the local CBS, the network news. At least like they got like a little, they doing like a little better. But the local news, I mean, I'm seeing cats with like 20, 21-inch TVs on a dresser behind them. Like one day I saw somebody just sitting at the bench at the kitchen table. Like, that is not acceptable. So you literally can beat them to the punch. And what they're beginning to do again is they're getting the audience accustomed to saying, you know what, this is what professional video quality looks like. And they're lowering the bar. So as they lower the bar, as entrepreneurs, we have to take advantage of the situation.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. I mean, you shared so many different things, so we're going to backtrack in a second. But no, you are ultimately right. In fact, like when the NFL did their draft, right, which was all virtual, how is it that there were anchors who have better quality video than the commissioner? I was like, what is, you would think you would want the commissioner to look the best. And I was like, oh, he's just using a simple webcam. He's not even trying. And I mean, you are so right. And this is a major opportunity because I'm also on the what am I trying to say? The principle of we will never get this attention ever again. Like, hands down. The amount of eyeballs, the amount of people who are online right now, let's just say another major event happens, I think, or would like to hope that we'd be better prepared. But the mere fact that we have all been forced to be at home and we're bored out of our minds, let alone we got to do some work for those who are working or working on your business or whatever it is, taking care of the kids, helping the kids, homeschool, whatever. We will never have this opportunity again where people are literally on their phones or on their screens, whichever screen they have readily available, and for you to be in front of them and pretty much almost making it a level playing field right now, like you said, in regards to like the professionals versus, us. Now,
you're
go
totally
ahead.
Right. No, I mean, I'm just agreeing with you that you're totally, that's what I've been telling my clients and my mastermind and such is that I told them when this thing first happened, I said, whenever crisis comes, and if you think about this, buddy, whenever crisis comes, there are new personalities that step onto the scene, right?
Yep.
And it's new personalities that are talking head experts that you'll see pop on the news. It's new talk show people. It's new anchors, right? It's new internet celebrities. It's new websites. So why not you? Like, this is your chance to step up to the forefront. What I like to say in a time like this, this is a time when you either lead or you be led. So why not lead? Why not share your expertise? Why not, cut that camera on, get in front of that camera, share your views, your knowledge. How can you help this world right now? And when everything is over, what people will remember is they'll remember the people that stood up. They'll remember the people that had a voice, and they'll remember the people that they were able to connect to during this time.
Exactly. Because, before I would say, if you're not utilizing video right now, before the times that we're living in right now, I was like, we were at a point where at one point businesses were wondering whether they should have a website or a Facebook fan page. Like right now, if you're not doing video, guys, you will truly be left behind once everything is settled. Those who are even just starting will be far ahead of you than those who decided to finally do it after, oh, I'm going to wait till this COVID thing is over. And I'm like, no, that's the biggest mistake you could do right now, because that whole initial excuse of I don't have anyone looking at me, I don't have the audience numbers. Traffic is up, okay? Like traffic will never be like this again. So take advantage of it. I've been preaching this, so I'm glad I have someone else with me on that, same philosophy, because to me it's the truth, right?
Totally, totally.
Now, okay, so backtrack. So I remember when you said when we first, the first initial 2010, right? And in fact, now I think about it, I think that was when, flip cams were out with the HD, like HG
Yep.
was just coming into the world. So I'm like, yeah, that was 2010. But what I want to ask you is when you were doing the documentaries and stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, because I totally forgot about that. To me, that's the equivalent of Oprah's network of, is it Black and Love? You know, the show that they
Black
have,
Love. Yep.
Black
Black Love.
Love.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I'm like, oh my goodness, you guys were doing this before a big name was doing this. That's awesome. And then the fact that you had theaters sold out, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like you can literally do that again, even. But it's just interesting to see, yeah, you took ownership and built your audience. So if you don't mind sharing with us, like, how did you use these documentaries and things to build your audience initially?
No, so great conversation. It's something, it goes back to what you mentioned a little while ago that you said everybody, you've had some great folks on this week. I've been watching, right? From John to April, like I've been watching. So like you said, everybody has community. Everybody you bring on has community. And that's what we had in the beginning, right? Around Black and Married with Kids, what we did is we said, all right, we'll have a community of people, right, that are interested in supporting and equipping marriage in the African American community, and people that realize that, hey, positive examples of marriage do exist inside of our community, contrary to what you always hear. People that say, hey, you know what? I know a Black father that's in the home taking care of his kids and somebody else's kids too, and we never reflect that. So once we built the community grew. We first started out through advertising. We quickly found out we weren't in control of our money. The advertisers were, right, depending on what their needs and whims were from month to month or quarter to quarter. We said, let's create our own product. So we had this crazy idea to do a documentary film. And this is where this ties in for everybody that's watching as we have this video conversation.
Sure.
We had no background making movies whatsoever. I want to repeat that. We had no background. Like I ran an IT department at TV station. I did not man a camera. I ain't run a camera. I ain't go to film school, nothing, right?
Right.
But we had met a dude that did documentary films.
Okay.
So I went to my wife, Ronnie, one day. I said, you know what? I said, what if we did a documentary around marriage? Because we're always trying to think, how can we get the brand out there? And then we was like, how do we do it? We're going to have money for it. We can't be hiring nobody. Like, because we just funding this whole thing with our 9-to-5 paychecks. And we have 4 kids and a new house, right? So we had bills out. Anybody know what I'm talking about? They got bills watching. So we said, let's do it. Ronnie said, I think you can do it. I try to think you can do it, Lamar. So I just bought it. Again, this is going to sound old, right? Because you already told me, like, I remember when y'all started your site, Lamar, I was.
It's okay. It's good to show people where we started.
You eating Lunchables or whatever back then. I don't know, right? But my man had just upgraded from an SD camera to an HD camera. He sold me his SD camera so that I could do what? Make videos for our website and put them on the internet. So I bought that camera. I said, you know what? We got a camera. Let me go out here and I'm just going to interview some folks. So for 2 weeks, I just went after work every day to a different couple's house. We sat down, did an interview. I watched a lot of HBO, a lot of TV, and I tried to figure out what they were doing in those movies, what different angles did they shoot, and how could I make it look high quality, even though it was super low budget. And basically what happened is, I think all in all, it cost me like $5,000 to shoot the thing. Our very first screening, up in Northwest Washington, D.C., Connecticut Avenue, we had 160 seats. We sold it out, and it shocked me. And that was the beginning. From there, like I said, we ended up doing 7 movies. We went 5 years in a row where we dropped a movie every single year, and we just built the audience, built the tribe around it. And like I said, there's nothing like video, because with video, we were literally able to bring people all across the country into theaters, right? Not even just watching from your home. Getting to watch from your home is easy, y'all.
Yeah.
Like into theaters to pay money to see movies that had no celebrities. that had no stars, that were not action flicks, kung fu movies, right? Not no guns in them, just couples sitting on the couch talking about their relationships. But that's the power of movie because, excuse me, video, because what video gives you is emotion. And the way you can connect with video again is unlike anything else you can do, because when people can see how passionate you are about a topic through video, when people can see how something touches you, when your eyes start to tear up, right, or when you get emotional, that's when it creates a direct relation with them. And through video, we were really able to establish the core of that brand and do so much around it. Through video, if I can skip ahead just a little bit, through video, when we started, growing the blog and wanted to get more into the business side of it, I was asking to speak places, Monique, and everybody was saying no, because we don't know you, dude. So what I went home and did, I don't know if I don't know, you probably don't know this. What I went home and did, because I couldn't get any speaking gigs, is I made a web series called The Gatekeepers Are Gone. And I said, you know what? Like, I'm going to take this stuff. I put it on Facebook. I will put it on YouTube. It would get hundreds of views, right? Hundreds and hundreds of views. So somebody saying, you got to have tens of thousands. Nah, I just got hundreds, 200 here, 300 there. But I would take it on YouTube, put it on Facebook. And I would basically, in those videos, share what I knew, the way I knew how to share it. I do it over a hip hop beat. And I said, you know what, Lamar, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an atmosphere where if you have a conference on blogging, if you have a conference on social media, and I'm not there, like somebody raises the question like, hey, y'all should have had to do Lamar here. I seen him on the internet. Like I want somebody in that room when they talk about who should we get to speak to say, hey, I saw this video the other day where this guy Lamar talking about the Gatekeepers Gone and we need him. So I put the web series out, The Gatekeepers Are Gone. I did like 6 episodes, right? I called it season 1. People asked me to come back season 2. I did some more episodes. But doing those episodes on YouTube and on Facebook is what gave me the ability to start getting on stages and to start to speak around social media, around business, and around what would eventually become traffic, sales, and profit.
Wow, no, I didn't know that story. Oh my goodness, thank you so much for sharing that. In fact, it deserves one of these. No, I'm serious, because those of you guys who are watching this, like, you could run with this idea right now. Like right now, a lot of in-person conferences are being canceled. So they're either pivoting to virtual experiences, let alone, they're just pushing it to the next year, but they're doing something in the in-between before the next in-person conference happens. And if you take what Lamar just shared with us, you can take that and run with that and start building an online footprint and have it do the selling for you, because you're right. Like, to me, there's nothing more powerful than digital word of mouth in this day and age. Marketing 101, it's word of mouth, but we're living in the digital world. So DWAM, if you will, people seeing you, Lamar, and saying, why didn't y'all have such and such? And then I'm sure that person naturally shares that video with the organizer or whoever who's doing that conference. So that's like you doing something where it increases your reach organically and automatically without you having to physically be there. So thank you so much for sharing that. And in fact, that kind of segues into the next question I have for you. Because, we talked a lot about Black and Married with Kids. So you also have another business with traffic, sales, and profit. So how are you utilizing video today?
Today, right? Like I said, we use that series I talked about, The Gatekeepers Are Gone, as a segue to kind of get into the business space. So how do we use video today? We use video in so many ways. For promotions, right? Our main thing is, before all this, we do 2 big events a year. Game Plan in January, TSP Live in June. TSP Live, we've been able to grow it from 47 people in 2016 to we had over 600 people 3 years later in 2019 last year. The way we do that is through video. At the events, right, we shoot a lot of video and we turn video packages the very next day, right? We take clips of video and we put them into our Facebook group, into our community, to let people know what they've been missing.
Yep.
And to promote FOMO, right, that fear of missing out.
Yep.
We have people in the audience on our team that are live streaming parts of the actual event out into the Facebook group, out into my public pages, so that people know that, hey, maybe I didn't catch it this time, but next time I have to be at that event. I can't actually miss it.
Right.
Between the events, we do lunch and learns. We were doing lunch and learns before the pandemic broke out. We stepped up what we started doing even more. But before that, like for the last few years, we've been doing the lunch and learn via video, which is just a sit-down interview with a subject matter expert every single Tuesday at lunchtime. We would bring them in. We would break down information for our community and for our tribe to provide massive value inside the group. And since everything has happened with COVID-19 and the pandemic and the economy and all this stuff, like to get to the people more, video was the only way to do it.
Sure.
So then last month, for the first time, I never done this much
You
stuff.
went
Last
through a
month,
street. Yes, let's talk about that because that was one of my questions. Go ahead.
yes. So last month I said, you know what, this is crazy. Like I really want to get out there because like a lot of people watching, even though I probably do more video than most, I still don't do the amount of video that I want to. So, you know, I've been like everybody else, right? I woulda, shoulda, coulda, but that don't get it done. So in a time like this, like I said, you either lead or get led. I said, I'm leading my community because I want to make sure nobody gets left behind. So last month we did, I did just over 30 videos in the actual group. That included a 7-day stretch. I did a 7-day more sales challenge in the group where every day I went and taught sales philosophies. I probably did about 20 different interviews with 20 different people on different topics from business to life to family that would help entrepreneurs in the actual group. You know, like video was the only way to deliver that type of message and to come, you know, in the way we need to come to make sure they got a hold of it, to make sure they understood it, and to make sure they could use it to level up their businesses. And the great thing about the video that we did, a lot of it was live stream, but then we repurposed all of it by putting it on the YouTube. So it lives on YouTube now. We're still pushing people there. People are still watching it, still viewing it. We broke the video down and created articles and blog posts around it. We created, you know, quotes and memes and all this other stuff around it. So that, like I said, we take that one piece of video and find out how many different ways we can leverage it.
I love it. Yes, I definitely was following you on that. And there's other people that I've seen who kind of taken this whole, okay, we're at home, so let me take advantage of these eyeballs. Like, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Pat Flynn. Like, he's been going live on YouTube daily since the beginning of March, and he has not missed a beat. Like, this includes weekends too, but he's doing different topics very similar to you. I mean, his is primarily on business, but I love that you were doing that. And I was like, yes, I'm loving this. And, you know, for someone who's just watching this, this is a great way. And Lamar just shared with you like different ways on how to make your video more evergreen, let alone make it really work for you. How he said, you know, he repurposed it on different platforms, broke it down, et cetera, et cetera. But to kind of dig in a little bit deeper, Lamar, if someone were to say, okay, I'm going to do this, like starting well, we're midway of May at this time, so let's just say June. You know, how could someone do this to get sales and leads for them?
Yeah, so what I'm gonna say, because this might sound basic, but this is most people get tripped up. Number one, I'm saying just start. Like start like today, right? Like start to create something. What I always say is the first version of what you ever do will probably be the worst version of what you ever do. So like one, you got to just get started and get moving and get down with creating it. I tell people all the time, done is better than perfect. And I know what trips people up with video a lot of times is they want to be perfectionists. They want the perfect look. They got to have the perfect, you know, quality, the perfect sound, the perfect lighting, the perfect topic. But what I'm going to do while that person is working on perfection is I'm going to beat the brakes off of them by just showing up and doing it every day. And even when I go back to the movies that we did, how I learned to get better with my lighting was the one time I didn't take lights to an interview. How I learned to get better with my audio is when we had a great interview and the audio was jacked up. So you learn so much just by doing, right? And then the thing I love about this creating, you know, video on the internet game is that the volume of it, like you get to do it over, right? You get it, like if you mess up something right that day, you can come back another day. You can come back that same night and do it again. So number one, I would say just to get started. Number two is what I'm gonna say is, you know, this is interesting. I did a talk the other day and I talked about like my 3-step gap framework. And what that is when you talk about gap, everybody listening, write this down. The G stands for goal. I want you, before you figure out, I'm gonna get on video and sell anything, to figure out what is the actual goal of that video, right? What is the actual goal? So is it for me to sell? Is it for me to get leads to my list? Is it for me to get people into my tribe, my community, my Facebook group? Is it for me to get people registered for this webinar or whatever I'm doing, right? What is the actual goal? Because everything that you do in that video needs to lead up to that actual goal. You can't say, I'm gonna do a video about this and try to figure out what you're gonna do on the end of it. You start with the end in mind and then lead from there. The second step, right, is the A, and the A is for audience. Who are the people that are going to be watching this? Are they younger? Are they older? Right, they older like me or young like Monique, right? You got to figure out that. You know, like what state are they in right now? Are they excited? Are they nervous? Are they frustrated by what they're going through? You know, like what's the demographic data, the psychographic data? Like who is the audience that you're talking to? And then the P stands for pain. Like, what is the actual pain point that they're experiencing? And how does the product or the service that you create, that you sell, that you offer, help them overcome that actual pain point, give them the transformation from where they are today to where they want to be? And most importantly, right, like when you pull a gap together, goal, audience, and pain, the audience in pain, what I also want you to do is think about how you should be talking to those people and how they actually articulate the pain point. Because a lot of times, a lot of you watching the subject matter experts and whatever it may be, but the way you talk, the acronyms you use, right, the language and the things you say may not resonate to the common everyday person that's going through that situation right now. So what is the actual language they use? So I say if you work on that gap, right, your goal, your audience, and your pain point, you get started today. And then last but not least, I'm going to say make sure, again, because we know the goal, everything we line up, want to make sure we have strong calls to action. Like if I get two things, actually, 2 bonus points. Number one is headlines. Because a major mistake I see entrepreneurs make a lot of times is they go live
with
and
nothing,
they have no headlines
or
on their live video.
description. Yeah.
No description. So they just think like somebody gonna stop and be like, all right, she look cute or he look handsome. Let me listen to this. That's not how this works. Not how any of this works. So you need a headline description to let people know what it is, right? And hopefully something to grab them to make them stop and unmute you so they can hear more about what it is. And then you need a call to action in that video, right? Like I said, to get them to the actual goal of what they do. We're not on video just messing around to be playing around. Like I said, know what the goal is before. Is it engagement? Is it reach? Is it list building? Is it, to get them registered, to get them to buy, figure all that out, and then use that in the actual video that you implement.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Guys, definitely that's just a blueprint right there. Implementing Lamar's gap blueprint, game plan, if you want to call it. In fact, when I had April on, she had her 5 E's. Don't ask me what they all were, but they were great. But in regards to even just video, by putting yourself, a lot of what Lamar just shared is like you putting yourself in your audience's shoes, right? First, you got to know who you're talking to, right? But in order to get through all of those 3 steps, especially the pain points, you have to know the type of eyeballs that you want to be, that you want to flock to you, let alone build your tribe. So thank you so much for sharing that. Now, I have a question for you. So far, I had John Lawson. He's all about team pre-recorded video. April, she's all about live video. Courtney, yes, who I had yesterday, she more so live video. So with you, because I feel like, well, you've gotten really, really acclimated with live video, at least, I don't know how long it's been before, like last month's experiment, but, you have a lot of experience in pre-recorded video. So between the two, which one is your preference?
My preference, that's a great question. My preference is actually live video.
Okay.
And I'm saying this because there's somebody out there like me.
Okay.
My pre-recorded videos just never get recorded. Like that's my problem. Like I actually have like a list of content. And here's another tip for people. I come up with ideas on stuff all the time. So what I started doing is making like a list where I have it's just a note, right? In my notepad where it's like a list of all these different content ideas, like how to do this, how to do that, right? Stories about when I did this one time, like back in the day when this happened to me, all like I got a whole list of content. But I know my hardest thing is that when I schedule content and when I say, hey, I'm going to sit down and we're going to do this and record this, it doesn't happen a lot of times. Mm-hmm. So what's better for me is a lot of times if I can schedule a live to just, hey, like hit it and go live. And plus when I go live and when it's over, it's just over, right? I don't have to edit nothing. I don't have to cut nothing. I don't have to upload nothing. At the most, I might just like repurpose it. It has my routine repurpose a little bit, but the post-production of it is a lot easier. Mm-hmm. So for those reasons, like, I can do both, but I prefer to do the live just so that it lends more to me actually getting it done and getting complete. And again, right, it goes back to that same thing, y'all. Like getting it done is better than it being perfect.
Correct.
Because I can make the produced stuff I would do would have a much higher value because I can drop stuff in and overlays, images and video and music, but I just want to get it done and out to the masses. That's what's most important to me right now.
That is the most practical answer I've ever heard someone choose. And thank you for sharing that and keeping it real. I would say I'm on that, like I'm the same in that regard. Yeah, even though video's my thing, like if I plan it, it's not necessarily gonna happen, especially with pre-recorded video. But the reason why I love video so much is because of the engagement factor. Like, Lamar, if you were to put a video up on YouTube, this is not knocking YouTube because definitely should have YouTube in your marketing strategy. But I feel like if you're not a YouTube expert, optimizing it, etc., there's like this waiting game. Versus if you go live, you're guaranteed to at least have one person show up. Let alone, you can utilize live video to test out topics that you might think you should put on YouTube. So if you say you go live about something and there's not too many people engaging or, asking questions, and you're like, maybe I need to do this at a different angle, or maybe I need to just drop this topic. And that's why I'm so passionate about live video, because when's the last time, because you've been in the blogging world for a while, like when's the last time you wrote a blog post when you're just starting out and you get that instant engagement, like the person instantly leaves a comment or shows up or likes it or shares it, etc., etc. And that's why I'm so passionate about live video, because it also takes off the mask, because with pre-recorded video you can edit things out, etc., etc., but at least with live video you can just show up and just be you, and people really get to know you for who you are.
Yeah, and that's a great point. That is actually one of the other things I love about live video is the participation.
Yeah.
Like I love it. Like, if I'm doing a short video, by myself, it's like, 10 minute video. 5-10 minutes on Facebook Live, like turn into an hour easily for me. Like, once they come into the chat, we key in the comments, you know what I mean? I'm reading stuff off, I'm taking questions, I'm asking them questions. It's like, it's a fun time, because what it begins to do is it begins to build family. And again, right, that word we talked about before, that T word, tribe. Right, and it begins to build community around what you do. And to piggyback on what you said, this is what we used to have back in the blog days, right?
Okay.
When you were just a wee lass, right? Back in my early blog days, when we started the site, what would happen is we would create an article, and you would have a community of people that showed up every single day. And we knew who they were. It was like, okay, yeah, she's selling insurance in Ohio. She got 3 kids. They all about to move out the house. What's up? They got 4 kids. They all between like 2 and 8. What's going on? How y'all doing? Like, people literally would be like, hey, how you doing today? Y'all having a good day? They commenting on each other's comments. It was like a family and a tribe unit there. When social, and not so much social, because social was there. When Facebook came, Facebook changed everything. Because then even when people came and read articles, right, for one, no longer did they come to us every day. They went to Facebook every day. So that changed. Like, the landscape used to be, you would have like your little list of 4 or 5 blogs that you love, and you would go to those blogs every day, read to find out what's new, and go about your day. Now it became, you cut on Facebook, and if you wanted to see a blog article, the person that ran the blog would have to put that article in your face.
Yep.
It would have to show up in your stream. And then the crazy thing about it was, the comments that used to happen on your site no longer happen there. Yep. So even if we had an article that went viral, got a lot of reach and a lot of reads, they had no comments on it, because people would find it on Facebook, read the article, and where would they leave the comments? Back on Facebook. So that whole community that left our properties, right, and that we used to own and we no longer have, we found again through live video. And the same type of connection we used to have in the comments of our blog, now we can have them in the comments of a Facebook Live, or the comments of, what other platform you want to look at.
I love it. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And yes, that is a great point, because I remember back in the day, there would be a set amount of blogs that I would check literally every day, and we would leave comments, etc., etc. So you're right, times have changed, and based on where we are right now, especially with Facebook, can you share with us like your video strategy? I know you use your Facebook group a lot, but I know a lot of people ask, do I go live or do I do video on my profile versus my business page? Like, I'm the proponent of business page as much as possible because of the analytics, etc., etc. But between, if you don't just mind sharing with us like your current strategy on Facebook.
Sure. So our current strategy on Facebook is to go live everywhere, like literally, right? We take the V out of it, like ERR, everywhere, right? Sorry, this is my DMV vernacular again. But really, right, because like it's so many benefits to each specific spot. And before, when we were choosing one or the other, I felt like we were missing out on the benefits of others. So definitely the most active place we have, and where we generate a lot of community, a lot of goodwill, and a lot of business, is inside of our Facebook group. Because right now, that's what Facebook is allowing people to actually see, right? Like, we got a huge, or like I said, one of our other brands, we got a huge Facebook page, over 500,000 people, but Facebook doesn't let anybody see what's on that page. Yeah. If you do a live stream, they'll let that out more than everything else, but they're not letting 100,000, better yet 500,000 people that said we want to see what's on this page actually see it. Sure. So we post a lot in the group because that's where all our engagement is. But then we need to post on the page, because when you post in the group, nobody can actually share it outside of the group. Nobody can
Yep.
see it but the actual members, right? So then it was like creating a great environment, great content, great value inside the group, but it didn't help to grow the group, grow the tribe, or to grow our audience because nobody else could see it. So we had posted on our public page as well.
Mm-hmm.
But then what happened is I said, okay, the most engaged group of people that I know that already know, like, and trust me the most are my actual people that like me on my personal page.
Mm-hmm.
So for a long time, I didn't go on my page. But then one day I said, you know what? Let me start putting stuff on my page. And that spiked up our views as well. Because when I organically shared it, right, like Facebook would just let more people see it a lot of times on my personal page than they would, on the business page or maybe sometimes inside the group. So what we do now is we use kind of like a multiple stream, multicast philosophy where we try to stream once and just syndicate out on different platforms through something like Restream.
Yep.
We used to use Live Leap before that, right? So there's different tools that we can say, hey, we want to record this once and then put it in as many different places all at one time as possible.
I love it. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, because I even think personally for me, it's like your business fan page is the marketing piece or the teasers, but your group is your VIP. Those are your people. That's who you show up and show out and over deliver. And April actually shared the very kind of similar philosophy. But yeah, you're right. I mean, as much as you can. But I asked that question for those who, in my opinion, who's do it primarily on their personal profile for vanity reasons. If we were going to keep it real, it's because they feel good when they see people who show up. But how I teach in like my students and my clients is this. It's like, okay, your friends, your grandmother, and whoever else will probably show up, but are they going to buy from you? Like if you're going to create content specifically for vanity reasons, that's one thing. But if you're looking to generate leads and sales, you got to be intentional with it and utilize the tools that they get. Because Facebook, like, Zuckerberg mentioned this week, they're doing something completely different for e-commerce. Last week, he talked about messenger rooms to compete directly with Zoom, and they're always updating the video stuff. And they highly reward you for it. And it's like, but at the same time, don't be in the selfish manner of boosting your ego. Like, show up, serve, it's your responsibility, but also make it to a point where it's worthwhile, where you get that ROI, so you don't get discouraged of, oh, I follow Monique or Lamar's advice, but I did it on my personal profile, and then you're wondering why no one's buying from you.
Yeah. And if I could add to that, like, one of the main things everybody watching should be doing, right? And right now, you all are official video marketers, right? You've seen this video. You've been following along this series all week with Monique. So you're a video marketer now. What you should be doing across anything that you do when it comes to marketing is testing, right? So it's two things you do, actually. Number one, you should be testing. Number two, you should be measuring the actual results of those tests. So that's exactly right. So that's what I want you guys to do, is to use these different platforms, right? Go live in different places. Go live at different times, go live with different content, and actually begin to track and say, okay, what are things that are working for me, that are connecting with my tribe, with my audience, that's allowing me to reach whatever we got taught on the gap, right? To reach the goal, right? To come across to the right audience and to help overcome that pain point that they have. And then use that to form your specific video strategy around what you do.
Yep, most definitely. And yeah, I'm all about, you got to track it, guys, because I had to learn that the hard way, especially with video and live video, especially live video. When it came out in 2015, at least on Facebook, everybody was quick to say, what's the ROI? And I had to really struggle with that. And then I realized, okay, I can't just use the same links I would generally use somewhere else and put it on this live video, and I can't know where the traffic source is coming from. So, I mean, there's so many different things that you could go about testing this, and I'm not going to, go into detail because it can really go over people's heads. But, with that said, those of you guys who are just, joining in or who are with us all the way, one of the main things that I wanted Lamar to be on here is he's been doing video for a very long time, but I like how he added the physical component, right? Because, yeah, now that you mentioned or reminded me of the documentaries that you did and, having people view it live in person, I'm like, yeah, because, a lot of times people think, oh, when it comes to video, it can only be something that's digital. So with that said, Lamar, let's just say we fast forward, let's just say by the end of 2020, everything is cool and people are going live, they're doing video. In your opinion, how can someone take what they've been doing and turn it into a movement, let alone move it offline?
That's great, right? So what, move that video into an actual product?
That or just, the audience and the people who started following them, how can they have a physical appearance? Like even doing something
Oh yeah.
similar like how you did the documentaries, right? Like you had theaters and
Yep.
people came and looked at you. So you had the physical presence, even though it started with the digital. So how could
Yep.
someone do that or create a movement or something once everything is settled?
Yeah, so if you want to create like a hardcore movement, you say, hey, I want to take advantage of the time. Like when they say everybody's home right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's unprecedented viewing hours happening right now, right? It's off the hook. So how would you do it? What I would say is you need to begin to capture those people. So if you don't already have an audience, you don't already have a tribe, you're not getting them inside of a Facebook group, right? Even if you are, one of the main things I would look to do is saying, hey, I need to have calls to action, which means in those videos, right? And I'm gonna do it a couple times because if you wait until just the end of the video, like if you're doing something like Facebook, it's always people. It's a highway. People are always coming on the highway, always going off the highway during the actual,
Thank you.
piece of that conversation.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, in the middle, and the end, I'm gonna throw my call to action in there in multiple places and tell people how I can give them a lead magnet, something of value I'm giving away in exchange for their name and email address, so that I can begin to build a list of people.
Yeah.
Because once I begin to build that list, guess what? That list is mine. So if Facebook says tomorrow, you know what? We're taking away live stream. You're gonna have to start paying and advertising your live streams to get people to see it. I can say, you know what? I'm good. I got all the people already on my tribe, on my email list. I can keep communicating with them. I can keep talking with them. I can let them know, hey, we're doing a meetup in San Diego this Saturday. I want to see you there. I can say we got a conference in Philly next spring. Here are your tickets to it. But that's the key of it, right? Like how can you pull those people that are on your streams, give them a strong call to action to get them off of the streams into a group, onto your email list, subscribe to other platforms that you have, so you can have multiple touch points, you can have multiple pieces of information on those people, and most importantly, you can own the actual contact. And that's how you have longevity in this game. That's the only way. Like if I can say, like, we've been doing this, right? I feel like we all, like, what is the official like length of time to be an internet OG, right? I feel like we all, like, we've been doing this for 12 years.
Right.
I had some other stuff going before that, but like 12 years and just this thing we've been doing right here. But I've seen a lot of people come and go, and a lot of times people go because they depend too much on the platforms. They're too platform centric. They don't own the actual contact. And when the platforms shift, the algorithms change, right? Like the platforms go away. And I know people are saying, well, Lamar, like Facebook will never go, YouTube will never go away. At one point back in the day, y'all, it was this thing called MySpace.
Right.
And we all thought MySpace would never go away, right? Guess what? It did. So there's no such thing as too big to fail. Own the contact, leverage that, build community, build tribe. And then once all of this clears, the best thing you can do is figure out, like, what can I do to get those people that are online, offline into an in-person event? You do that, you cement the relationship, and that just creates a circle, right? A flywheel where you build an amazing community online, you blow them away with an offline event, and that gets the online community even stronger, and it gets them attracting more people and bringing them into it, and it just never stops.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing that, because I know that kind of puts you on the spot. In fact, I'm going to put you on the spot one more time. But, thank you for sharing that. So I know one of your premier events happen in June. That's next month. And April, I had her come on because she has an annual conference as well. She recently pivoted to a virtual experience. So my next question to you is, do you plan on pivoting to a virtual experience? If you are not, how would you go about doing that if you did plan on doing that?
Oh, this is a great question, because we just made a huge announcement last week.
Okay.
This is perfect timing, right? So what we did with our event, we do an event called TSP Live, right? Traffic, Sales, and Profit Live. The website is tsplive.tickets.com, tsplive.tickets.com. So with TSP Live, what we did, we do it every year. Like I said, we've grown from 47 people in 2016 to over 600 in 2019 last year. So we were on track with a phenomenal event, already sold most of the tickets out. It's a few things we did. Because, right, it's a large event too, what we consider large. It's a large event. So we still have not really got the go ahead here in Georgia. It's open for everything else, but we still I don't think we can do like large events with hundreds and hundreds of people.
Right.
So what we did is we actually moved the date back. So
Okay.
we moved our date back to October, from June 26th, 27th to October 2nd and 3rd.
Okay.
But what we did is we said, we want to deliver amazing value for our participants.
Hmm.
And we know that we do our events between every 6 months because entrepreneurs need that pickup
Yes.
twice a year. Like once a year is not alone. By the time we go from one year to the next, there's going to be some people who not in business anymore.
You're right.
So what we said is we still have to deliver value because some people literally, especially with everything going on, they won't be here if we wait until October. So what we did is we slid the date till October. And in its place, in June, we still are doing a virtual experience. It's a 2-day virtual experience called TSP Thrive.
Okay.
And the reason we call it that, right, because we said we don't want people to just survive through this time we're in right now. We want people to actually thrive that are in our community, traffic, sales, and profit. So we got like 2 days of amazing content geared around what they can do to overcome COVID, what are the actual opportunities, because there are money opportunities whenever you're in crisis. What are ways they can actually pivot? We got content, tell them how to scale their business from 6-figure owners saying, hey, this is how you get to 6 figures, 7-figure owners saying, hey, this is how you get to 7 figures and beyond. Just amazing content, like built specifically for this time. And in regards to how we're doing it, like my main thing is that what we don't want to do is a webinar. I don't want you to get on there and be like, man, I attended one of these last night for free, right? So what we're doing is for everybody who had a ticket, we just comped them and gave them additional tickets to this TSP Thrive event.
Okay.
And now, right, like tickets are sold out for the live event, but people can go buy a live stream and that'll get them access, right, to TSP Live and TSP Thrive, both events virtually. They'll be able to live stream both events. They'll get replays of both events, all types of cool stuff. But for the event, what we did is we're sending everybody, I can't say what it is, but it's going to be like a goodie package that we're sending to everybody before TSP Thrive to get in their hands, get them excited about it. We got a bunch of digital assets that are going to be amazing that we're going to blow them away with to make an experience. We still are actually, Monique, we still have rented out a hotel ballroom. And we still are doing this event in a hotel ballroom.
Yes.
So we can have the actual set of, we'll be on stage talking to folks. So we'll be on stage. I got my DJ in the room. I got my MC in the room. So we are running this thing like a live event. It's only difference is instead of sitting in that seat at the Westin and Buckhead, you'll be sitting at home, but we'll still deliver a phenomenal one-of-a-kind event, only like we do at Traffic, Sales, and Profit. But like I said, at a heightened level to really incorporate an experience unlike anything anybody's ever seen before.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I am so happy that you have that thinking cap on because I've been kind of I guess you could say snooping or kind of looking at people and how they're doing these pivots. And again, guys, he is incorporating offline things. The fact that you will be receiving something in the mail, something tangible, which is great. Another great person who recently did this is Rachel Hollis. Like she has her event, and if you got the VIP, they sent people an actual box and as they're attending this virtual experience. And just doing a webinar or let alone just showing up on a Zoom room is not gonna cut it, guys. I think that's something that because Zoom is so easily accessible, people are like, yeah, let me just do that and get it out the way and kind of check off a box. But no, I think there needs to be an additional thought process, if not take it more, because it's a virtual experience, to really captivate your attendees and not just make it a Zoom thing, So I'm glad to hear that you're still doing it. And hey, since you already have the ballroom booked, you might as well use it for something, right? And you can get different still B-roll and other things from marketing materials when it's actually time for you all to do it in October, let alone in the future of next year or whenever.
Exactly. We got to do it. I mean, I tell everybody, like, take advantage of the opportunity we have right now. Like I said, you either lead or be led. It's either one or the other, but it's up to you to choose.
I love it. Now, okay, I know you mentioned how, especially with the Thrive event, you're going to show people how to scale from 6 to 7 or 7 to 8. So let's talk about how people who are looking to scale their business, because a lot of what we discussed thus far have been primarily for those who are beginners or newbies or, just want to get started with video. But in your mind, how can people who are in that scaling phase where they really want to grow, how can they use video to make it happen?
Like I said, one of the biggest things I would do is, no matter who you are, right, one thing we all need is traffic.
Yeah.
So, we're seeing is even when you're doing paid traffic, right, what are the media buyers telling you right now? I need video. I need more creative, right? Most of the creative is not just images, but we need video. So you should be creating actual video content for your paid traffic strategies, for your organic traffic strategies. You need to be creating videos. If I just got landing pages and sales pages up, if I got registration pages for my webinar, guess what I got to put on those pages in order for me to have higher conversions? Video. You know what I mean? So like it's no getting around it. So what I would say, because I know as your business grow, a lot of times your time commitments grow as well, is block off times when you can get it done, when you can sit down. You don't have to be a technical person if you're not. Have other people come in, like just outsource that piece of it to somebody else where they have a time you can sit down, you can create the content you need to create, and then you go away, they cut everything, they edit it, they upload it to where it needs to go. But just have the presence of mind that like video has to be a part of my strategy from now on going forward. And even if it is, think about what additional ways can we leverage video inside of what we're already doing to actually get it to work even more. I mean, people have been saying for the last, I feel like 15 years, that now is the time for video.
Right.
Like video is the thing that's next. And it's still like the thing, right? We still consume more and more of it. So if you feel like, man, I should have got down with this years ago, or I should have done this a long time ago, I should have done that, it's not too late, right?
Not.
Get started, right? And whatever you're doing, like, so even if you're doing it, like figure out how I can do more, how I can scale up more, how I can make myself present in the actual marketplace, because people want what you have.
I love it. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And I mean, for those of you guys who are looking to scale and they're like, oh, paid traffic. I mean, that's something you really can't ignore. But guess what, guys? Video ads is the cheapest form of paid traffic on any platform. YouTube ads, all that. That's the cheapest form, no matter what platform you're on. So you might as well just take it to your advantage, right? And like, I'm the proponent of all you need is this or your webcam. The professional stuff is great, but to me, I'm like, you gotta deserve that, meaning put in the work, get used to it, get all the things that you need to learn about video before, because, if you were to get the professional equipment, it's not gonna make you do it. You already had that mental block before, so if you're not in the practice of doing it already with just what you have, a professional video camera is not gonna help you either.
And Monique, I was looking the other day.
Yeah.
I was playing around with this Google Pixel. The Google Pixel, I think, is literally a better camera than my DSLR. It's like a DSLR I bought like years ago for like $1,000, got like this expensive lens on it.
Right.
Like the cell phone cameras now are better than the cameras you're going into Best Buy or B&H Photo and Video to buy, so you have no excuse not to get started.
Most definitely. Thank you for sharing that, because yeah, you're right. And I mean, like, especially the latest iPhones, they got 4K, they're doing all kind of different lenses and stuff like that. So I know you guys are buying the latest and the greatest, so you might as well just use it to your fullest advantage, and you have no excuse of not being able to do it because you literally carry it everywhere you go. So, with that said, Lamar, I know we're kind of wrapping it up. We're at the top of the hour. I want to thank you for taking out the time. I didn't realize you don't get a chance to talk about video. So I was like, yes, this is going to be awesome for us to talk about it. Oh my gosh. But yeah, first things first, I'm interested about this Thrive event. So where can people go to participate in the Thrive event again?
Yep. Like I said, if you go to our website, www.tsplive, tickets.com, right now we have a promo where, like I said, if you buy the live stream package for TSP Live, we throw in the live stream for TSP Thrive along with it. So you'll get access to both, and you'll get replays for both in case, everybody, you have the kids right now, you homeschooling them, they're there all day in case you need to step out, you need to walk around the block, you got some work that you got to do because you work from home. We understand it. So we'll get you both live stream access, both replay access. And what I can guarantee you is being events unlike anything you've ever experienced before. And it will give you the tools that you need to begin to build your business beyond where it is today.
I love it. I love it. I have one last question for you. Based on your experience with video, what is your most favorite type of video?
What you mean? Like we talk about type?
Okay, sorry. So when I say that, like, there's talking head, there's more of like the production, kind of like a documentary. There's interview style like this. There's video testimonials. Yeah. Like, what is your favorite, or what do you think is the most beneficial for a business?
It depends on. All right, so that part get tricky. I was ready for
Okay.
my answer.
All right.
My
Do
answer
do do
is
part one.
I
Go ahead.
love. All right, two part real quick. My
Yeah.
answer is I like talking head stuff. Because I'm a talking head. Like I can just get on and talk. Like content is easy to create for me. I use my little gap framework. Right. What's the goal? What's the audience? What's the pain point? And I can get on and just talk. We can talk about whatever. Like I can have somebody in the comments right now say, "Hey, I sell insurance." I can talk about insurance. Hey, I sell whatever because I got a framework for I talk about it. All I got to know is a little bit about the things, and I can put pieces in the blanks of the actual framework. Um, Now, what everybody else should do, I think it depends on you and what your strengths and talents are.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because some people are just not good at interviewing other people. They can be great by themselves, but they're just not good at interviewing other people. It's like you've been doing a great job. You got great questions. You get on your feet. Some people ain't good on their feet.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have every now and then you have a rogue a rogue guest, right? When you're interviewing people, but if you can't be rogue with them or you can't keep them on tracks, it could be a catastrophe.
Sure.
Some people don't have high energy.
Yeah.
So it might not be good for you to be a talking head if your energy is low and the people don't connect. And I'm just turned on. I'm like, man, this is whack. You know what I mean? Like I'm out of here. I'm not watching this. It's a million other things in my Facebook stream on my Instagram. Like on Instagram, there's literally a circle with somebody going live right next to your circle. So I know if you whack, I'm sliding to the side to the next person, right? So like I said, but if you're a great person, if you're knowledgeable, if you like to connect, like talking head might be for you. So I really say like think about what your strengths and weaknesses are.
Mm-hmm.
Try different things out, right? So try those different things, see which ones you like, and then see where the cross section is between the things that you like and the things that get results. Because if you're doing things that get results, but you hate doing it, you're not going to do it for long.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing things that you like that don't get results, then you're wasting your time. So what are the things where like they get results and I like doing them and I can just double down on it and go harder?
Boom. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. And, those of you guys who are watching, this was a great opportunity. Again, like Lamar, I've been following him since like 2011, him and his wife, Ronnie, at first. And just, I've had the opportunity to meet Lamar. He's an amazing individual. And I was like, yeah, he was one of the very first people I followed online who was doing video to build the business. So I was like, we gotta have him on for this edition of Ignite Your Video Lifestyle Success Series. And yeah, it's been a long time, and yeah, I don't know why I never shared with you that story before as to how I discovered you. But I mean, that's what happened. I remember, and I was just like, man, like they're doing it. And then I was like, and they're in Atlanta too, because that's where I was raised, and I live in Atlanta now, but at the time I wasn't. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for being here. Tomorrow is the last day of this edition. We're going to have Alicia Little on as our guest at 1 p.m. Eastern sharp. If you guys want to participate in that, there should be a link either in the comments or wherever you are, like in the about section somewhere, description somewhere. You can sign up to register for that. But again, my whole intention behind this whole success series is to bring on what I call business veterans. Like Lamar, he's been doing this, or at least, Black and Married with Kids since 2007 when I graduated from college up until now. And then he also has Traffic, Sales, and Profit. And in fact, guys, I strongly implore you, if you're not a member of his Facebook group community, go and join, because you can be able to see how Lamar is doing it personally for his business, how he's doing it for when a live event's coming up. He does video ads. I mean, he does all of the things. So he's not just spewing out his mouth and all that other stuff. So again, thank you so much for being here. And Lamar, do you have any last words or thoughts or advice for those who are watching us?
Like I said before, most important thing is just get started. Don't get stuck in perfectionism. Don't get stuck in I got to have the right camera. I got to have the right lights. Most of you have a either one or the other, right? You got a mobile device or you got a laptop or a tablet or something that you're watching this on right now. So turn that camera towards you, get to talking, get to connecting with people, and use that 3-step framework I gave you, the gap, right? When we talk about what's the goal, use that to leverage it, to build tribe, to build audience, and to make more money in your business. Don't be out here doing this stuff for free, right? We got to build better businesses so we can employ people. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. Thank you, and I hope to see you inside of my group, Traffic, Sales, and Profit with Lamar Tyler here on Facebook. Make sure you check us out and join. We would love to have you in the community. Thanks, Monique. This has been awesome.
Yeah, no, thank you. And thank you for those of you guys who are watching this or watching the replay. And we will see you soon. Bye.